You think you know Master Chief, the tall, green, unstoppable. But what if I told you the story you know barely scratches the surface? Behind the visor and under the armor lies a history so dark, so twisted, it would make even the Flood say, "Whoa, that's messed up." Strap in, Spartan. We're cracking open the classified files the UNSC never wanted you to see. The kidnapping nobody talks about. John 117 didn't start life as humanity's greatest hero. He was just an ordinary kid growing up on the peaceful planet of Eridanus II, bright, athletic, and full of potential. And then Dr. Catherine Halsey entered the picture with her clipboard, sharp eyes, and a shopping list for the ultimate child soldiers.
511 in Elysium City on Eridanus II, John, from an early age, was a unique kid. At the age of 6, his unique genetics were identified by Dr. Catherine Halsey, making him a prime candidate
At the tender age of 6, John was snatched from his home in the middle of the night, replaced with a nearly identical clone, programmed to die of natural causes shortly after. By the time most kids were learning multiplication tables, John was learning advanced hand-to-hand combat against grown adults twice his size, and winning. The idea of abducting children wasn't just some mad scientist's dream. It was an officially sanctioned military strategy. If it sounds horrifying, congratulations, you have a functioning moral compass. In the world of Halo, though, the ends justified the means. At least, that's what they told themselves while raising an army of literal child warriors. The Spartan-II program, humanity's darkest flex. The Spartan-II program wasn't created to fight aliens. It was built to crush rebellious humans. Before the Covenant ever showed up, waving plasma rifles, the biggest threat to the UNSC was human insurrectionists refusing to play nice with Earth's government. So what did the brass do? They secretly built an army of 6-year-old super soldiers. Makes perfect sense, right? John and 74 other abducted kids were thrown into a training regime that made boot camp look like summer camp. Grueling obstacle courses, tactical drills, and psychological conditioning that stripped away normal childhood emotions. They were being forged into human weapons.
Recovering from surgery, John and some others would return to Reach for further training.
And even among this elite group, John stood out. His tactical instincts, leadership skills, and sheer stubbornness to survive quickly earned him the #1 spot. While others were struggling to keep up, John was outsmarting trainers, winning impossible war games, and occasionally decking a superior officer for good measure. While it's easy to picture the Master Chief as the strong, silent type because he's just cool like that, the truth is much darker. By design, Spartans were emotionally muted to avoid hesitation in battle. When Chief charges into the fight without a second thought, it's more than bravery, it's programming. The augmentation gamble, how many survived? If you thought kidnapping and training were bad, wait until you hear about puberty Spartan style. At 14, John and the others underwent a series of horrific biological augmentations. Scientists basically said, let's see how much we can Frankenstein a human body without it falling apart. Titanium-bonded skeletons, enhanced muscles, improved reflexes, and even heightened night vision. It was cutting-edge science and pure horror. Of the original 75 candidates, only 33 survived the process. Some died during surgery. Others were left permanently disabled and quietly shuffled off into medical obscurity. The ones who lived became superhuman, meaning they were faster, stronger, and tougher than anything humanity had ever seen. John excelled here. His body absorbed the augmentations like a sponge. His strength reached insane levels. He was punching through concrete, lifting half-ton objects, and surviving impacts that would turn regular humans into a paste. Thanks to his carbide ceramic ossification, his bones were nearly unbreakable. Seriously, getting into a fistfight with Chief would be like trying to punch a refrigerator that punches back harder.
John and the other Spartans underwent extensive augmentation surgeries designed to turn the candidates into the ultimate soldiers. These high-risk surgeries resulted in the death of 30 Spartans and left another 12 crippled. John was among the 33 that survived intact.
And if you're wondering how normal emotions like fear, doubt, or panic factor into all this, well, they don't. The procedures and training pretty much burned those away. What remained was loyalty, discipline, and an almost mechanical drive to win. Mjolnir armor, the final evolution. All that strength needed a proper delivery system, and that's where the Mjolnir armor came in. The Mjolnir-powered assault armor wasn't your average combat gear. It amplified the wearer's strength, speed, and reflexes by orders of magnitude. Problem was, it was so powerful that any regular human trying to use it would instantly snap their own spine. During early tests, volunteer soldiers, non-Spartans, literally broke their necks just trying to move in the thing.
Variety of different companies. This all brought the cost of the armour down drastically, and it also allowed the armour to be mass-produced for the large amount of Spartan-IVs coming into service. Gen 2 Mjolnir armour doesn't actually perform much better than the Gen 1 armour, however.
Thankfully, Spartans like John were anything but regular. He and his fellow survivors made the Mjolnir their second skin, turning them into walking tanks capable of dismantling entire battalions single-handedly. When Chief first dons the Mjolnir Mark V alongside Cortana at the beginning of Halo Combat Evolved, it's not just a cool armor upgrade. It's the fusion of humanity's greatest physical weapon with its smartest AI mind, creating a one-man army capable of taking down anything from Covenant warships to ancient galactic death machines. Master Chief's hidden past, the secret missions. During Operation Trebuchet, the Chief and other Spartans were deployed to battle human insurrectionists across the outer colonies. They were Black Ops missions, so classified that most civilians didn't even know Spartans existed. John led teams into brutal urban warfare, surgical strikes, and high-value target eliminations. He was already a ghost story whispered among rebel forces, a faceless, unstoppable juggernaut who appeared from the shadows and ended fights before they even began. There's even strong lore hints that John participated in sanitizing political threats that the UNSC found inconvenient. That's right, before he was saving humanity, Chief was cleaning up humanity's messes. By the time he first set foot on Halo Installation 04, John 117 was a living legend in the making. The Fall of Reach, When Legends Bleed. By the time the Covenant discovered humanity, John was already a hardened warrior. But even he couldn't have predicted the scale of what was coming. The Fall of Reach was a gut punch to humanity's survival, a full-on massacre where hope got steamrolled by plasma fire. Reach was humanity's military crown jewel. Billions lived there, and it had shipyards that churned out the UNSC's best warships like cookies from a factory. It was supposed to be untouchable. When the Covenant attacked, they brought the army. Entire fleets blotted out the sky. Even with Spartans, tanks, and orbital Mac guns firing, Reach fell like a sandcastle against a tsunami.
That landing zone has been tagged by UNSC Command as a Priority 1 target.
Discharge link is loud and clear.
Copy that. Acquiring signal lock on the pylon. Detonating in 3.
John, along with a handful of Spartans, fought tooth and nail to evacuate key personnel, protect civilians, and salvage what they could. It was during this chaos that Chief was tasked with an even more critical mission, safeguarding an AI that could tip the entire war, Cortana. A fun twist is that Cortana chose Chief. Out of all possible candidates, she picked him, not because he was the biggest or the meanest, but because she knew he would get the job done, no matter what. As Reach burned, the Master Chief and a skeleton crew fled aboard the Pillar of Autumn, jumping blindly into slipspace with Cortana's fragmented coordinates leading the way. Their destination was totally unknown. But what they found would change everything. The Ringworld Revelation, a weapon beyond comprehension. When the crew stumbled upon Installation 04, they thought they'd found a miracle, a mysterious, habitable megastructure orbiting a gas giant, seemingly untouched by war. But it was very much touched by war. In fact, it was a weapon. The Halo rings were ancient superweapons designed to wipe the galaxy clean of all sentient life. Why? Because the Forerunners, the ancient builders of the Halos, needed a way to starve out a galaxy-wide parasite called the Flood. The logical solution was to kill everything the Flood could possibly eat. Finding out that your new cosmic real estate is actually a galaxy-sized extermination button is a real mood killer. The Chief didn't have time to process the existential horror, though. Covenant forces were everywhere, and worse, the Flood had been unleashed again, turning dead bodies into writhing zombie nightmares faster than you could say, "This is fine." And yet, it was in this chaos that John's legend crystallized. He was fighting to save everything. No backup, no retreat, just him, a shotgun, Cortana in his head, and the kind of stubbornness that turns impossible missions into Tuesday afternoons. When Autumn was sabotaged to trigger a self-destruct, Chief made a sprint across the crumbling ring world, barely escaping before the whole thing went boom. And if you think that was the end, buddy, we're just getting started. From Halo 3 to Halo Infinite, a ghost in the machine. By the end of Halo 3, Chief had literally saved the galaxy twice, but salvation came at a cost. Cortana, his ever-present companion, was left drifting in the void. Chief entered cryosleep, lost to the stars, a forgotten legend waiting for a time when he'd be needed again. That time came in Halo 4, but things were different. The Chief, who woke up, wasn't just a blunt instrument anymore. He was a man reckoning with loss, identity, and what it means to be human after being treated like a tool his entire life. Facing the Didact, the last Forerunner Warmaster, and grappling with Cortana's rampancy and her inevitable descent into madness, Chief found himself fighting not just enemies, but time itself. The invincible hero met vulnerability, doubt, pain. By Halo 5 Guardians, Chief became almost mythological. He was chased by Spartan Locke, doubted by Command, and struggled to find Cortana after she went rogue.
Comcheck.
Comms working fine, Locke.
It all culminated in Halo Infinite, where we find Chief more alone than ever, yet more determined than ever. Stranded on Zeta Halo, abandoned by humanity's collapsing forces, he picks up the pieces the only way he knows how, one enemy at a time. Even as new threats emerge, like the Banished and the Endless, Chief remains that singular force, a relic of a more brutal time, somehow still carrying the impossible weight of humanity's survival on his battered, unbreakable shoulders. And that's the true story of the Master Chief, a legend carved out of tragedy, sacrifice, and pure stubborn will. If you enjoyed this dive into Halo's greatest hero, make sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and keep riding with us through the stars. Because behind the pixels, there's always something to discover.